Oops. Welcome aboard. Are we live? Yes, we're live. There we are. Can we hear ourselves? Let's see if we can hear ourselves. I can hear you.
Put this thing into the computer.
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, that's the wrong live. There we are. Now let's see if we can hear ourselves think. Can we hear ourselves think?
There we are.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Now let's see if we can hear ourselves.
Yeah, we can hear ourselves think. That's excellent.
Can you hear yourself think?
Okay, put that aside. Let's change the description. And where are we here? We're live.
Live.
Edit the video. Will it rain? Who knows? What's a good thumbnail? Let's change the thumbnail. Oops, let's change that as well. Nobody here. Somewhere there's a thumbnail. Don't know what that thumbnail is. Where is that thumbnail? Hey, bye boy. Thank you for coming aboard. Ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. I'm looking for my thumbnail. I guess that one will do. Okay, let's wait for this to wake up. See how good the Dr. Brandano. Thank you for coming aboard. Good to see you. Ahoy. Okay, so now let's go back here and watch this. See if this comes up. Nate Forda, how are you? Welcome aboard. What happened? Somehow we lost Ruby. We lost a chat there. So let's see what we're doing here. I have to get this thing operational. And
So let's see what we're doing here.
okay, we don't need the echo. We don't need an echo. That's really bright, isn't it? Give it a few wrenches here. Dr. Brandano, subscribe would be nice. I'll subscribe back to you after the show is over. Bye boy, we're already subscribed. Ruby. Give us a subscribe when you got a minute. Mr. Visceral, thank you for coming aboard. Caesar Mocha, hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Always a pleasure. Grizzly Warrior, haven't seen you in a whole week. That's not true. I think I dropped by. I do believe I dropped. Maybe I only dropped by once. Can't remember. It's all a blur. So we've had a pretty good week here. It did rain. No, that's not giving me what I want. That's not giving me what I want. Where is this? You know, I try to keep track of where I'm going and who's come to visit. And I've actually got a little Access database going because in a previous life I did databases. And the challenge with all of that, of course, is that you have to look at it, right? You create these databases, and you put all kinds of information into them. And of course, you only get out what you put in. So it yeah, we don't really need that live there. Let's watch this over here. It let's see if we can make this fit here. Let's see, type show link to drop link. Show link to drop link, that's correct. And let's pin that there. So everybody's welcome to network. So when I started out, I was going to sit here and get the sun, but there's no sun, and it's freaking cold. I don't know what happened to global warming, so let's put on the captain's uniform and stay a bit warm. And I brought a fall jacket just in case. Sunrise PH, thank you for coming aboard. Ahoy there. I'm going to subscribe to you. Please subscribe back. And let me give you a wrench. I thought I had subscribed to you. But there's a few people with the sunrise and sunset, and after a while, again, this is part of part of the keeping track of the database. So it's it looks very bright outside. We're sitting in the boat. I think I'm going to put the camera up on the cabin top. It's 10 to 6, 10 to 7, and I put the cabin rain cover on to keep the rain off. I may sit inside because it's a bit warmer. The boat is moored east to west, so the stern is facing east, and the wind is from the east, so it's really blowing in there because whenever we have bad weather, it's almost always an easterly wind. The it could be we're getting some of the effects of Hurricane Erin, I heard somebody talk about that. I don't know if that's really a factor or not. We're a bit away from the Atlantic Ocean here, but we do get the outer bands of rain and sometimes a little bit of wind um, when there's a hurricane in Florida. So, but definitely no sunshine. I was hoping there would be sunshine. Now, yesterday they promised thunderstorms, and we had no thunderstorm either. So you got to take the good with the bad when they misjudge what the weather is going to be like. The did get the sailing video from the previous weekend up and operational, and it's got some good reviews. It was very it was a very relaxing sail. We didn't go very fast, 3 knots, 3 miles an hour. The wind was about 6 knots, 6 miles an hour ish. Like a knot and a mile an hour is not exactly the same, but it's relatively close. And we had a good wind angle. The wind was from the south, so the destination that I want to head to is the western tip of Toronto Centre Island, Hanlon's Point, or I guess it's really Hanlon's Beach and Gibraltar Point, where the Hanlon's Beach is the nude beach, and Gibraltar Point is the haunted lighthouse. And we did make it that far, and then tacked and headed back. So it was a good 3-hour cruise. For those that have been chicken explorers, welcome aboard. Ahoy there, ahoy. And for those of you that were around in the days of Gilligan's Island, the 3-hour cruise, of course, didn't end up as well as they had hoped. I didn't see Gilligan's Island as a kid. We didn't have a television, and but I did watch it on either Netflix or Prime or whoever it is. Yeah, Chicken Explorer, please hang out. Stick around as long as you can, as long as you want. Leave and come back. Always appreciate it. Every visitor is important. How does the phone company say? Please hold on. Your call is important to us. Well, they don't even talk to you, but still. At least we're talking. Or sort of one-way talking, not a dialogue, but it's a talk. Now, I was hoping to get down earlier today in the rain because I wanted to see. I still haven't solved my bilge pump leaking problem, to see where water was getting in that day that I had a bilge full of water. And I wanted to come down in the rain and specifically sit basically where I'm sitting now, and just watch to see if water's coming in anywhere. Thanks, Chicken Explorer. I do appreciate that. We'll probably do a couple hours. It does get dark so early, like at 8:30. Last time it was pitch dark, and it's getting dark even earlier. So we'll put the camera outside for a while. Hopefully the swans will come, and then we'll come back and chat inside. So let me, having said that, let me find a spot for the camera. I'm using my remote Bluetooth microphone. So wherever it is, oh there it is. Bluetooth microphone. There it is. Let's put that on. I guess you might have been hearing crackling and other weird noises. But the reason I bought that little thing was to avoid wind noise. People get so much wind noise when they, especially the people that do walking tours, and people. There's a lot of fishing people. So they're out in the weather, and sometimes it gets windy, and phones pick up this weird noise that kills the sounds a lot. So I bought this thing. It does work well. The battery died. I thought the charge was good for 4 or 5 hours. The battery died last time we were here, so it's been charging for a few hours, and a little bit blue light. The blue light is on. And We'll see how long it lasts. Yeah, sip of Diet Coke. It, oh, there's a whole bunch of it in the back of the boat. So I'll have to clean this thing up, but I do want to find where that water is coming in. It was interesting. We'll keep this subject on hold till we see if We Go Tours comes by. She does walking tours in Niagara Falls and that area. I came into Toronto and we had a nice chat at that time. But she, so we're talking about people that do walking tours on YouTube, and there's a guy that does in Toronto, a guy called Johnny Strides. I watched him a few times walking around, and he had an interesting article in the local daily newspaper about how he was making over 100,000 a year on YouTube, walking around the city. So that was an interesting validation of what we're trying to do. We're not making 100,000. We can't even get our 4,000 watch hours. So we'll hope for that elusive viral hamburger recipe. I see other people doing hamburger recipes and they're getting 1 million views, and I see people doing the smelts. So smelts is a little fish that's in Lake Ontario, and it's it's a bit of a rarity. I mean, you can barely find them in the stores. As a kid, used to go down with my dad and all the other immigrants. We'd go to the pier in Hamilton, the Burlington Pier, into Lake Ontario. So it's called the Burlington Pier, but it's really in Hamilton, and Hamilton Beach. And everybody down there with the dip nets, and they dip the net in the water and haul it up, and they get hundreds, maybe many anyway, fish, and then the kids would go pick them up and put them in a bucket and take them home, and then we'd have fresh smelts for the week, and then we'd sort of do it all over again. It only lasted for about 3 weeks, but they were good, pretty good, the way my mother made them. So that's the way I did the recipe I did. I see other recipes. I did a bit of research, and pardon me, everybody is talking about doing almost deep fried. So, like an inch of oil in the pan, and then you'll deep fry them so that they get crunchy. I'm not really a fan of crunchy fish. And the problem is, what do you do with the leftover oil? So if you're at home, you can't pour it down the drain because it'll solidify, and your drain will back up, and then you need the rooter guy to clean out your drains. You can't really put it in the garbage because it is kind of liquid. I guess you can put it in a bottle and put it back in the garbage, but on a boat, you have even fewer places to get rid of it. So I didn't want to deep fry it. I wanted to do it my mother's way. She would do them in butter. I didn't want to do butter. I did a bit of oil and fried them a couple minutes on the side. And they ended up tasting pretty good. My mother's were better. It's possible because there we'd eat them the day after they were caught, so they're super fresh. And these I bought at the market, where they'd probably been lying around in a fish wholesaler for a couple of days, and then they were in my fridge for a couple of days. So they're a week old, and week-old fish starts losing some of its flavors. So, but they ended up being pretty good. I really wanted to do them when, unfortunately, we had the California fires, and the news was full about the smelts in the rivers in California, in LA, and there was some controversy around whether the water was diverted to save the smelts instead of fight the fires. It sounds far-fetched to me, but if you've been to LA and they talk about the LA River, it's a concrete trench, right? So it's an interesting environmental area that California, LA does stuff that nobody else does. So anyway, at that point, smelts were in the news. But these smelts were Lake Ontario smelts, and they aren't out that early in the year, so it had to wait. The only smelts I could get here were Chinese smelts. They're imported from China, and but they're very small. They're like 2 inches big, and almost minnows. And that didn't it didn't appear that I could do those my mother's way. So that's my smelts. Take a look at it. I tried something else with that. So I have always, since the beginning of time, used music in my videos. If you go to Canada Art Channel, there's always a bit of music somewhere. And I tried to do that without any music, just a dialogue. Now, it's voiceover, because I can't talk and cook and record myself all at the same time. But I tried to fill the whole 8 minutes with dialogue, talking about the fish and talking about the butter and the oil and how long they should cook and the spices. And I did find a recipe online somewhere, I guess a recipe or a suggestion of how to make a nice dip, mayo dip, that I improved upon immensely, that I did like. So there's some, I think it worked out well. I watched it on a television today because I'm getting about half of my viewers are watching on TV, so they're watching as if it was a cooking show, which is flattering. It looked pretty good on a large TV. Hey Zavi, the welcome aboard. Ahoy. It didn't look enough like a cooking show to let me give you your inch. I will subscribe to you once this show is over. Network as you wish. What was I talking about? Cooking shows. So in the cooking show, normally there's more about the character than about the food, whereas I'm doing more food than character, although you get the captain introducing and wrapping up to some extent. Again, because I can't talk and cook and do anything else at the same time, and we're not doing 100,000 a year that we can afford a cameraman for all of this fun. So I was quite impressed with myself. The quality of the video is nice. Like those fish, let's again go back to the fish. So there's some shots of them frying in the pan and being turned over, and in the end of the bones and so on. And the quality, so this is a 50-inch, 60-inch TV. 60-inch TV, so, and I was about 10 feet away from the screen, so it's sort of normal viewing distance. And it was, I was quite impressed. I do want to make it look more like a cooking show. So I'm going to have to watch a few more cooking shows to see what else we can do, and maybe to figure out how to have two cameras going. So one is aimed at the cooktop, and one is aimed at the at me stirring stuff. Now, the other problem then, of course, is I have to look good. Am I going to wear a chef's hat? Am I going to wear a captain's hat? I need a new apron so that the cooking looks good. I mean, I guess one of the high profile cooking shows recently was Meghan Markle's thing, and it was more of a social networking show with a bowl of fruit in the middle than a cooking show, but people liked it. So, hey, Billy Bob, thank you for coming by. Thank you for coming by. I think last time I went to your channel, there wasn't a new fish there. But maybe I didn't find the latest fish. Anyway, thank you for dropping by. I will check. Ahoy. Let's just have a sip of Diet Coke here. I'm getting dry. And let's see if okay, so this picture is not reversed. Let's take this camera outside and see if we can get some swans to come by. On the weekend they almost came, and then they didn't. So let's see what we've got here. Ooh, I see a bunch of birds. Oh, I see a whole bunch of birds. They're at the end of the fairway. Okay, let's put this here. How does that work? What do we see here? Okay, so we're looking down the fairway. I mean, somebody else's boat is in the way, but that's the problem with being in a marina. There's boats, right? Pardon me. And the guy next door got himself a new flag. So that's going to block, but the wind is blowing it around so much that it's not really making that much of a difference. And let's leave this sitting here. I'm going to go back inside to get away from the wind noise and to monitor the chat. Hopefully we're over. That would be embarrassing. Yeah, so I saw a bunch of birds down at the end. I guess they're not coming closer. So we'll just have some outside. Hey, Necessary Censorship, thank you for coming aboard. Ahoy there. We get by. We get by. I will subscribe to you when this show is over. Let's give you a wrench. Network as you wish. The Matthew DeRosier. I don't think I've seen you before. Thank you for dropping aboard. Welcome ahoy. Welcome aboard. We'll see how things are progressing. So we'll see. Keep an eye on this this wind out there. I'm going to just turn on my sound here in the cabin and see whether progressing. So we'll see. Keep an eye on this. Hey, no wind noise at all. So that's really good because the remote microphone is protected from the wind because it's stuck on my shirt. So the technology is amazing. The yeah, I don't know why he decided he needed a new flag. So he's got 2 flags out, and he's an avid sailor. I think last time we had this much fun, he came down with his dog, and it started raining. And then when the rain stopped, it was almost dark again. He headed out, and we gave up at 9:30, so it was pitch black, and he still hadn't come back. So if you're careful, there's lights on the buoys, and if you're careful and you know where you're going, it can be a nice evening sail. And it wasn't super windy. I just am surprised that it didn't actually rain after all. The yeah. So what's next? So we was talking about the cooking show, a television perspective. So I want to think of how to do that, and especially if I'm recording on the boat, it's so narrow. There isn't room for two cameras, so it's a bit of a challenge. I do want to visit a few other people's boats and that have bigger boats, I guess, more room for them, and get some different boat backgrounds in the background. But today's cooking was a pork stir fry. Turned out pretty good. Needed just a little bit more pineapple juice. But it was basically pork stir fry strips fried in sesame oil with celery and I got to remember now because I don't have it in front of me. So the vegetables were celery and red pepper, bell pepper, and broccoli. So nice combinations of colors. And in this cooking, I'm looking for a good taste, but also I'm looking for pretty colors, right? Because the objective in the end is to have a cooking show. The pardon me. The spices were ginger, so some fresh ginger, and soy sauce. And I debated oyster sauce or hoisin sauce. So the hoisin sauce is very sweet, and I ended up going with that because I wanted a sweet taste instead of a salty taste. Oyster sauce has got a salty, it's not really a fishy taste, but sort of a salty, heavy taste. And that ended up pretty good. Some pineapple juice. And as I say, I underestimated how much I needed more pineapple juice because it got absorbed into this flour coating and the chow mein noodles a little bit more than I had anticipated. So we'll adapt the recipe before it goes live. So that's today's thing. We'll do a live edit of it tomorrow night, I guess, and then it should be up and operational on Friday. And then we'll see what the weather's like to see if we can get out on the water again. After we had the heat wave, suddenly we're at Pink KTV. Thank you for coming aboard. Ahoy, ahoy. After the heat wave, we were down to almost winter jackets. So as I brought a jean jacket down. It probably end up putting that on after a while. Yeah, good morning. So it's still evening here. So you're the other side of the world. It's amazing how small the world is when you think about it. Yeah, the view is my neighbor's boat. He got a new flag. So it's so big it's blowing around in the wind. Why am I coughing? Why am I coughing? And yeah, so the boats are facing east-west, and the easterly wind is really blowing it around a lot. So, but I'm still hoping that we're going to get a few swans. I'm just looking at the video closer. a few swans coming by. I don't see any. But every once in a while, they'll come by, or we'll get a few ducks. We'll see what the evening is like. It's 7:30, 7:20. If the sun goes down at 8:20, so it'll get pretty dark by then, and the swans will have given up for the evening in any case. Pardon me. Yeah, so my supper was the pork stir fry, and I'm going to take the microphone off so that you don't hear me chomping on a Henry chocolate bar. Christina, thank you for coming by, Christina Jane. Can't remember when I was looking at your channel, but let's give you a wrench. Network as you wish, and say hi to other people. Let me just go visit you. Can't remember what attracted me there. There was a really nice recipe that I was looking at, and I think it was a recipe. Can't remember. Yes, the dragon fruit. So I remember once I was working for Uber Eats, and they sent me out to take pictures of Misty, Nancy. Suddenly, the boat's full. Welcome aboard. So I was out photographing food for Uber, and they sent me to a restaurant in Chinatown in Toronto that was basically a fruit bar. So they served fruit in cups, and a lot of it was fruit to go. So they would, and they had whole fruit as well, so you could get your whole fruit delivered. But the thing that that made them unique was that they would do nice mixes of fruit salads, and they had dragon fruits, pink dragon fruits and yellow dragon fruits. And that made a really pretty looking salad. It was a to-go salad, but also an interesting taste. And they had some other stuff. They had passion fruit. I'm not a fan of passion fruit. I don't know why. I by mistake once bought a jug of passion fruit ice cream because I thought it was mango ice cream because the box was yellow. And to my surprise, it was passion fruit. And I was not impressed with passion fruit. So, but dragon fruits. I mean, just the name dragon fruit, right? And then the sort of the color and the triangles of the leaves on them. So it's sort of dragony, almost like the Triceratops. Dinosaurs, right? Very pretty color, and the inside has an interesting texture with the bits of black seeds and stuff like that. Papaya is another fruit that people talk about a lot, and it has never done anything for me. Let's have a bite of O. Henry. Hey, Elvie, welcome aboard. Nice to see you. So how far south are you, Nancy Green, that dragon fruit will grow? Hey, Philip Azar, welcome aboard. Ahoy there. Drop a like, give a subscribe. Always appreciated. Atlanta. Okay, so Atlanta is pretty far south. I'm in Toronto and we get freezing winters. We're going to try this year to get a hibiscus to grow. So the really pretty hibiscuses we get here at the garden shops don't survive the winter. But there's a place in Niagara on the Lake. It's a fruit stand and a farm that have what apparently are called dinner plate hibiscus, and they're huge. They're like the size of a dinner plate, right? And they seem to grow to survive the winters. And I finally found a garden shop that sells them. So planted them. We'll see what if they survive the winter. Um, Maybe have to put some straw over them just in case. But where they are, they're at the edge of a fruit stand, and theirs are pretty colors. There's reds and purples and whites. Ours are just purple. So we'll see if they survive. Other people have said take your normal hibiscuses that we get here and just bring them inside. But not sure I want to bring in the bugs from outside over the winter and then put them outside again in the spring. So it gets pretty cold up here. So I have a couple more bites of this Henry bar, then I'll come sit outside and see if we can see these birds. I keep promising you birds, and the birds never come. Hey, Grizzly. It was interesting. I'm sitting here inside the boat, and I'm hearing water noises. And the first time I heard them, I was worried that I had a leak or something. Was water getting in? But it's just a little wave that's pushing against the side of the boat, making sort of water dripping sounds. No, Philip, we don't live aboard. I had an interesting conversation yesterday visiting people. It's more of a cottage kind of thing, and hang out, do stuff like this, and just hang out and fall asleep. The boat's big enough to live on. There's in this marina. There's a couple of smaller boats that people do live on. And we're talking about a guy that lives on his boat year-round in the west end of the city. And I've never found whether he has a YouTube channel or not. He's on TikTok, with his boats. He's a little bit of an outlaw because while it's legal to anchor anywhere within reason in this area, most people end up being anchoring in marinas or boat clubs that have rented space from the city. So he's sort of drifting around. Um, let's see if he's got a YouTube channel. Tate? No. Maybe Tate. So his TikTok is Tate. Tate. And he does basically little videos of himself on his boat. Hey, Lil. Lee, thank you for coming aboard. The so he lives aboard, and so Lee, I'll come check, look at more of your stuff once this show's over, and I will subscribe. So for now, let me give you a wrench and network as you wish. I like the subscription as well if you have the time. I really appreciate it. So the issue with living aboard is to some extent it will be considered substandard housing. It's very small and cramped. No running water. So if you imagine living in an RV in a trailer park, there's running water and sewage hookups, but no marinas in this part of the world provide that. I think if you're down in Florida, there's a couple of marinas that do that, and I think parts of Marina del Rey do that as well. And so this guy was known as a panhandler, and on the streets in that area. And then somebody once asked him, "What are you going to do with all your money?" And he said, "Well, if I get enough of it, I'll buy a bigger boat." So people were thinking he was going to like abandon the panhandling and go and do something else, but this is his life, and more power to him. And now this year, I see he's advertising on TikTok that he's got 3 boats, and he's renting them out as Airbnbs. So it's an interesting intersection of lifestyles that he's done, and he's happy. So it's who's to complain? Don't know if there's a Mrs. Tate. You see a dog in some of his videos? Okay, so I'm going to look for my winter jacket and then come up on deck and see if I can see some birds. Almost wish I'd brought long pants. I hear birds. getting even windy even in here, so we might get some wind noise once we're right there, but let's see what it's going to be like. I don't know where I left that jacket. I don't know where I left that jacket. Let's see what we find here. Okay, Sunrise, thank you for coming by. We'll do this again. Okay, let's see if we can take this stuff outside. We'll put the microphone down inside the shirt. That way it'll be protected from the wind. And let's see if that will work. Okay, so we won't take the battery, the light thing out for the camera, for the computer. Let's take this out. Let's see what it's like outside. Ooh, what's that? Let's see how much wind noise we're getting here. See how much wind noise we're getting here. Well, not too bad. Not too bad. So, is it cold here? I just put on a jean jacket, lined winter shirt. Think I'm going to do it up a little bit. I wish I'd brought long pants and socks, but it's not cold. You shouldn't complain. It's going to snow soon enough, and Mr. Russian, thank you for coming by. Nice to see you. I think I subscribed to you. Don't remember when I last looked, but let's give you a wrench network as you wish. I find I get a lot of pleasure in networking with people at these things. But thank you for coming by. So it it is cold. It says 19 degrees Celsius, so that's what 40, 70. Is 70 considered cold? Not really, but it's also not considered hot by any stretch of the imagination. And it's what you'd expect in September, so it's going to get better. Mr. Russian, where am I? I'm in Toronto, so on Lake Ontario, North Shore of Lake Ontario, and it's a bit windy. I've got the window of the Dodge open, so the wind will blow through, so it doesn't push on the boat too much, and it's bouncing around, so it is a chilly day. So let's do up another button here. Keep the cold out. This isn't windproof. I could put on a life jacket, I suppose. That is plastic. It will keep the Oh, you're in Toronto. East End. Well, I'm at the Ontario Place Marina. Not Ontario Place, Outer Harbour Marina, which is Tommy Thompson, Leslie Spit. It's a good place. It's away from the busyness of downtown. It was really right downtown, and the traffic got so bad it would take 2 hours to get there. And so I moved the boat here. And now it's 15 minutes from my house, so it's a good place. A lot of people. People are friendly. I mean, I don't ask for a lot. I ask that the electricity works. I ask the water is clean, and now that we're doing YouTube, I ask that the Wi-Fi works. But what else? What else would you want? There's nothing to eat here. It's there's a coffee trailer, but it's not open today. You think now is when you want a nice warm coffee or hot chocolate, and it's not open. They tried to put a food truck in, but I guess the food truck gave up. You can call me King George, just call me. So the food truck didn't last more than a month. I guess we didn't get enough business because it was too far from the boat, so it was close to where the office is, because there's parking there. And it's also accessible to people who aren't associated with the marina. So it's accessible to people that might be just bicycling on the road. And no, I don't live on the boat. It's just a cottage. And but it's too far from the boat, so never tried it. It's gone. That's the biggest thing wrong with this place. Now, again, I'm cooking, so I can cook on the boat if I want. I can bring stuff down, and it's good. It's good. The sky looks weird. Like I'm looking north, which is the opposite to what you're seeing in the camera. And I see a huge big black cloud very low on the horizon. I'm not sure. And I see big black clouds to the east, which is where the wind is coming from. So we might end up getting very wet here if we're not careful. I can't really check the weather network if I don't have the phone turned on. I guess I could bring out the other phone. It has a weather network on it. But and I got to keep the hat on too. At the very top of the picture is the cover, the cockpit cover. So when I got the boat, it didn't have any of this canvas, and I didn't want a full enclosure. because it gets a little bit claustrophobic almost. But I wanted to keep the sun off when I'm sitting in the back, and I wanted to keep the rain off of the cockpit in the middle. And so they made me a cockpit cover, but it's not quite wide enough to cover the whole thing. So where I'm sitting, if it was raining, I'd be getting wet. I'd have to sit right in the middle to avoid the rain. It's a sailboat, yeah. It's a hunter sailboat. Go to my channel. One of the first videos, oldest videos, is about a walk through the boat. Advice for to own a sailboat is make sure you know where you're going to leave it. If and depending on where you live, what kind of place you live in, a house, apartment, condo, that becomes a factor. My first boat was a laser. So a laser is a 12-foot sailboat, one mast, one person. Just to digress, Mr. Russian, some people do wrap them. I've never wrapped a boat. The boat's designed to be out in the weather, so it shouldn't need a shrink wrap to keep it from to survive the winter. Some people say that the snow blows into places where ordinary weather doesn't, and that does cause a few issues. Plus, it's like $600, $700, so I've never done that. And then this winter, and every winter here, the wrapping breaks. And you get the rain and the snow in anyway, and there's no guarantee because they can't guarantee the weather. I mean, I guess they could make sure that whatever they're doing is quality enough that it doesn't fall apart in the first decent wind. But no, I've never wrapped a boat. So back to Philip, you got to make sure you have a place to leave the boat. The boat that we see in the background with the big Canadian flag blowing on it, that guy, he's 50-something. He's never had a boat before. He bought that boat last year, and he's out in all kinds of weather. He's figured it out, and he loves it. So I mean, I figured it out too. I never took lessons. I just bought a boat and said okay, and read a book, I guess. My first boat was 12 foot. My second boat was 16 feet. 16 feet? Yeah, 16 feet. The third boat was 19 feet, 25 feet, 27 feet, and now 32. So each of those sizes, you got to figure out where you can leave this thing. Marinas aren't cheap, but I can't leave this boat in my backyard. A trailer wheel boat, there's a brand here, again, I don't know where you are, but there's a brand called the McGregor that is trailerable. Their masts are organized to be easily taken up and down. Hey, go with the flow. Thank you for dropping by. Welcome aboard. So you got to have a place to leave the boat. Learning how to sail, it's not rocket science. It's 80% knowledge, 20% experience, and a few percent in there of adapting to things as they're different from what your experience and knowledge tells you. I've enjoyed it. I guess I've had a boat for 50 years. And it's fun. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, back to wrapping. People do it. I remember when I bought this boat, I was looking at other marinas. It was in the winter, and a bunch of boats I looked at were shrink wrapped, so you could get up inside and they'd be nice and dry for taking a look at. And the weather was because the shrink wrapping is like a big tent over the boat. It's plastic that is put over top of the boat, and then it's plastic that shrinks when it's heated. So these guys are out with flamethrowers aimed at the plastic, and it shrinks and fits tightly around the boat if the guys that are doing the job are doing it right. When you hear them, you're always saying, oh my God, they're going to set fire to the plastic and the whole marina is going to burn down. It has never happened where I've been. It doesn't mean that it has never happened. But it's a thing. Yeah, big black clouds. So big black clouds, but there's no big to the south, which is the way the camera's pointing. They look almost fluffy when I look at them here. Now today, in the middle of the day, we did have nice blue sky. It was it did look like it was going to be a nice afternoon at about 2 o'clock, and then it changed relatively pardon me, relatively quickly. I had to, the boat has a water tank, and the water, I mean the marina water is good to drink, but I won't drink this because it sits in a tank. The tank is 20 years old. Don't know what's in there. I have flushed it out many times and pour some chlorine in it to kill whatever's growing in there. But I'd run out of water. I use it mainly to wash my hands and wash stuff, wash utensils, wash boat parts. So I filled that, and that's probably going to last for the rest of the summer. So one of the good things about being in the marina is that the water is free. But people do come in that aren't in the marina and buy water, and they charge them a fortune because they've got to keep the facility going, right? There's a nice cruiser across the road. I'm going to turn around and see if I can see some birds coming in here. Let's see what we can see. Let me just pick up, there's a piece of garbage here. That's going to work its way into, oh shoot. I don't want it to blow into the water. I'm chasing this piece of garbage as it's blowing around the cockpit. Oh, somebody's loading up their boat. I do not see any birds. I do not see any birds. I don't even see the cormorants that sometimes come by here to catch fish off of the back of these docks. So there's nothing there. So I'm looking south now. Yeah, the clouds are a bit brighter there than they are to the north. We'll see how, if anything comes up. It was interesting. One day I was down here on a Wednesday night, and we were supposed to have had a thunderstorm. And it was dark and cloudy all night, and then once we wrapped up the live, the clouds cleared, and then so to the south I still had huge clouds, but to the north it was clear sky. It was black because it was already dark, And there was a wonderful moon right in the middle of this that was showing about. Yeah, I thought we'd had some goose. I hear a goose flying by. I don't see it. There don't see many geese actually in the water here. There's a bit of a lagoon. So north here, Mr. Russian, if you know this area, you know where the Hearn generator is and the gas power plant there. So there's some water outflow. There's some cooling water that comes into this bay. And in the winter, there was no ice. I was surprised that there was no ice. And but that little hole that was created by the warm water from the power plant was full of ducks and geese and swans, 10, 20 swans. And I think I did a video of it. Again, it's a pretty old video now. Would have been in January, I think, of this year. And all those birds were totally coexisting. I thought the geese would be fighting with everybody because they are aggressive birds from what I've seen. But the ducks and the geese and the swans, and a couple seagulls too. The seagulls don't seem to care about warmish water. They seem to be everywhere. But yeah, it was like a whole, almost like a bird sanctuary off to the side there that provided a place for them with water, and I guess water gives them a place to find food, fish and vegetation. If you go by there now, there's still a few swans hanging out there in the summer as well. I hear more geese. Are they coming in? They're not coming in here, so who knows where they decided that they wanted to land. Saw a red-winged blackbird earlier, and every time I see red-winged blackbirds have a habit of attacking people that come close to their nests. Now, I don't know if they're still nested this time of the year, but they attack all year long, so I keep waiting for this stupid red-winged blackbird to attack me. So far we've been okay. I want to check something on that sail cover. Yeah, a lot of noise, but I don't hear any wind noise coming through the microphone. Let's just listen again for a second. Yeah, a lot of noise, but I don't hear any wind noise coming through the microphone. Listen again for a second. No, or it seems to be okay. Seems to be okay. What else is new? There's a nice Ferrari parked over there. What's going on here? This is blowing around too much. Let's keep this from... There we are. Keep it from blowing so much. Yeah, some interesting cars here. Whole variety, depending, I guess, to fit with the price level of the boat. So Ferrari, there was a Lamborghini on the weekend. It's a Bentley. Actually, it's two Bentleys as far as I can tell. Bunch of pickup trucks. So a variety of so I'm going to go move over to the corner here and see if I can get some protection from the wind a little bit. Probably not a lot because the Let's see. Let's turn the camera on. I might as well have the camera watch me as opposed to watching some random boat. Let's go for a little bit further. Okay, so I'm a little bit sheltered by this this bimini, not a lot, because the wind is coming from the east, and we don't have any protection against the back of the boat, so it's getting chilly. It's getting chilly. But I don't see any, let's see if we can find the weather network here. Let's see what the weather network has to say about when it's supposed to rain. So hopefully I don't lose us. I don't know what it's called, so let's Google it. Weather Network Toronto hourly. What does it have to say? Hourly forecast. It says, it doesn't say anything about go away cookies. It says cloudy. It says cloudy overnight, 10 p.m. And it says sunny tomorrow. So tomorrow is be bright sunny all day long. 23 degrees. How much wind will there be? Let's see. Will it tell me? Wednesday, Thursday. What's it say for Thursday at 11 a.m. So wind 21 kilometers, 10 knots. A bit windier than I would prefer. Probably not going to go sailing. But maybe I'll come down and check things out for a while. Wait for my birds to come in. Oh, I should have checked to see when the sun was going down today. I didn't notice that. I look like a frozen captain of a Great Lakes ship. I feel like a frozen captain of a Great Lakes ship. You can hear the rigging bouncing around from some of the boats. Here the noise from this boat is basically the canvas that I'm sitting behind, blowing around in the wind. Yeah, not much to see. Not much to see. If we ever get any birds coming in, then I'll turn the camera around to let it picks up some of the wildlife activity. But right now there's nothing to be seen. Guess the birds know better. Although I guess the seagulls, I mean, they're out in the watery weather all the time. Ducks are in the water all the time, so shouldn't make any difference to them whether there's clouds or not, it doesn't affect their lives. But no birds. No birds. So interesting to me, anyway. I've mentioned that I do photography, and I take pictures for stock websites. And Adobe had a project where they wanted pictures of stuff to feed their AI engine, and they paid, whereas opposed to other people like OpenAI just stealing everybody's pictures. And so it's kind of interesting. I mean, you never get rich doing this, but it's something to do. And if you're going to take pictures anyway, you might as well get paid. So Adobe was looking for pictures of outdoor things, and in the latest go around, they said, well, we don't want patio furniture, because they've probably got thousands of patio furniture pictures. The first time they had this project, and they don't want gardening tools, because they probably had thousands of gardening tools. And I figure, okay, I'm going to do boat stuff, because there's a boat, right? And so it's going to be kind of unique. And it'll be interesting to see, let's give them a couple of months to load the data into the database. Be interesting to see if I can generate images that I can identify my own pictures into. And so there's various boat things, and this captain's hat and sunglasses and binoculars and compasses and walkie-talkie, ship-to-shore radios, and so sort of nautical stuff. But I did a series of pictures with a life buoy, and a bright orange life buoy, and they liked them. And then yesterday I saw that Shutterstock sold one of those to somewhere in India or Malaysia, somewhere out there. So somebody's writing a book or an article about sailing, and it was a picture of a life buoy with a flare pistol, and somebody wanted that picture. So always nice to see that. So we're down to 2 people watching, so I'm going to stop talking for a few minutes until we get a bigger audience. And we're back to 4 people watching, so let's start talking again. So it was interesting seeing my boat pictures. First of all, on the stock website, but even more interesting, that's somebody bought them. Now, Shutterstock, sometimes you can figure out, they'll tell you what country where they're bought in. And sometimes you can Google myself, and see who, and you might find where your picture is being used. Joji, you're here. Thank you for coming by aboard. Oh, love to see you. You're wonderful. Welcome aboard. Ahoy, ahoy. And so I see a lot of my pictures on MSN. So MSN has various news channels, and I see a lot of my food pictures on MSN, where MSN is reprinting an article from the Tasting Table or Mashed, and it's nice to see what people use the pictures for. There's a bunch of food cans that I've done. I see yours food cans. I see that on websites that are aimed at the grocery industry and the food processing industry. So sometimes you see where people are using stuff. It's always interesting to see where the boat stuff is. The rest of my boat pictures, I haven't seen that many of them. There's a boat behind us is a Chris Craft. So Chris Craft is a famous boat brand that's been around forever. And I took some pictures of their logo. They have a plane coming overhead. And I found a boat magazine and had bought that. And I guess they wrote an article about the Chris Craft Company, and they needed a picture to fill it in. So that was kind of nice to see that. Now, how much do you get paid? Shutterstock pictures, they're 10 cents. Magazines buy subscriptions so they can buy thousands of pictures a year, and their price per picture is very low, and what the photographer gets is a small part of very low. So it's but it's something to do. It's something to do. I have taken pictures of swans because swans are always nice. Never had a picture of a swan printed. Partly, I guess, because everybody else takes pictures of swans. I mean, I'm taking pictures of food cans, and there's probably only 8 other people that do that. Whereas everybody that sees a swan figures that, oh, that's a pretty picture. I'm going to take that picture. And so there's hundreds and thousands of swan pictures on the internet. It's the same as YouTube, right? There's probably hundreds of swan videos. How do you know if yours is going to do anything? So there's always an algorithm somewhere that controls your life as a content creator, and there's not much you can do. If you're gorgeous like Joji, you can dance, but the rest of us can just take pictures of the boat parts. Oh, what's the weather going to do now? What's the weather going to do? It's still brightish to the south and really dark to the north. I think the wind has gotten windier. The tree there is moving more than we planned. I guess I could go down and turn on the instruments, and that would tell me what the wind speed is right above the boat. Probably not worth the effort. We just know it's cold and windy. Cold and windy it is. There's a few other people across the way that are cleaning their boat or come down just to sit on it and watch the water for a little bit, listen to the wind, check the lines to make sure that things are tied up tight. Don't want things blowing away when you're not watching. Got some good spring lines put on there. Just watching one to see how much tension there is, but it looks like it's okay. The Philip was asking earlier about buying a boat. So one of the things that you got to learn is how do you tie up the boat to not have it blow away when there's a wind. Never had a boat blow away, so obviously either I'm doing something right or I'm just lucky. Another airplane heading out. Oh, pardon me. Oh, now I'm yawning. I'm cold and yawning. What is the world coming to? I think we're going to go inside pretty soon. Going to go inside, and I'm not going to warm up. There is a heater, but I'm not going to turn the heater on. It's summer. We don't turn on the heater in the summer. We just go. But we'll check that spring line again, especially to make sure that the boat can't go forward enough to bang into the
the cross dock. Because that would be embarrassing. People would laugh. I would laugh if I saw somebody else's boat banging against the dock. I mean, if you're down in like hurricane weather, and again, I don't know if we're seeing the tip of Hurricane Erin here or not. I don't know how far north it has come, but we do get some bad weather from the outer bands of some of the hurricanes that are, if they're hitting mainland USA, then we'll see that fairly often. The docks are bouncing around. I guess the dock isn't moving, it's the boat that's moving, so it looks like the dock's moving, but it's the boat that's moving as the wind is pushing it around. Chicken thighs on the barbecue. That sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. Put some nice spice on them, and you've got a dinner. And you got a dinner. Now, I like them boneless because I don't like dealing with the bones. But boneless thighs, marinated in soy sauce, and some sweet sauce, some sugar. Tastes fantastic. Honey, yeah, honey is I guess a good sweetener because it really sticks. It really sticks. So it yeah, we'll do a couple more boat barbecue videos. I said I would do big shrimp on the barbecue. Get them from St. Lawrence Market. Mr. Russian knows where that is. And marinate them in soy sauce and a bit of lemon juice. They get a bit of flavor. And put them on the barbecue. So that'll be another boat barbecue recipe. And still want to do steak. I bought a couple thin sirloin strips that I was going to do, and then got sidetracked into chicken. Sirloin strips. The thing about sirloin strips on a barbecue, there's nothing to it. I mean, what do you do with steak? You just throw it on the barbecue, turn it over, and it's done. So that doesn't make an exciting cooking show at all. Yeah, you can make the fixings that go with it. Chicken thighs, there's the preparation and the sauce and the sides that make it a very interesting meal. And that then make it a very interesting program to watch. So we'll do that before the summer's over, and I still got to figure out how to do my seagull stealing my food from a barbecue reenactment. I need to figure out because this barbecue, if you look across you can't see his barbecue anymore. So the neighbor has a round barbecue, and the round barbecues, boat barbecues, the lid comes off. I have a square barbecue because they didn't have any round ones when I wanted to buy one. So the square ones, the lid doesn't come off. So if the lid's on, then the seagulls can't see what you're cooking. And what I'm trying to reenact is a a sailing trip, a charter to the British Virgin Islands where I had fish on the barbecue, and I'm sitting there watching the fish getting grilled, and suddenly a seagull swoops down and steals the fish off my barbecue, and all I ended up with left over was the vegetables and the potatoes. So at the time it was annoying. It was kind of cute, you're out in the seagulls' territory and competing with them for food. So it's more the story that I'm trying to reenact than anything else. And I don't really want to chum, so to speak, the seagulls, because I don't really want seagulls floating around here pooping on everything. So it's not, I don't want to make it a permanent attraction for the seagulls. So I still don't know how I'm going to actually do that. Do I see any birds coming yet? I don't see any birds. So let's see what we're going to do here. Maybe we'll starting to freeze a little bit here. Lost some of the audience. Mr. Russian is back. May end up Moroccan dry rub spice. I'm not familiar with that. Got to work on the video from the stir fry, the pork stir fry. So maybe I'll head out and work on that. So let's give it another few minutes. See if the birds come. I don't see any birds. See if we get more visitors. I don't see any more visitors. So we'll see what yeah, it's getting dark. I can see myself nicely in the everybody check out Joji. Amazing person, dancer, talker, singer. Got some really nice shows going on. Let's look at the analytics for this thing. Yeah, I can't even see across the parking lot anymore. Partly because there's a lot of trees there, so it's getting kind of dark. I was planning to do fishing content this year. I never have. I may. Really not so much for the fishing, but for the cooking of the fish. So catch and cook was a plan that I'd made. When I was a kid, I always went fishing with my father every week. As an adult, I haven't fished in, I don't know how many years. Long time. I think at one point I had a fishing rod and I would just hang it over the back of the boat when we were sailing, but never caught anything. Didn't spend any time thinking about bait or what lure to use either. So it's not. I didn't try very hard to catch anything. But I'm interested in the catch and cook aspect. Catch the fish, clean it, put it on the barbecue or put it in the frying pan, throw in some vegetables, and you got a cooking show. That's I think, where I want to go with fishing. So I did buy a new fishing rod, but it's still in the bottom of the boat. We'll see. Maybe next time I'm out, hang it over the edge. Make sure there's the frying pan and the some oil and some spices there, so that if you do catch something, it can turn into the cooking show all at the same time. The salmon derby is going on now, so people are fishing for salmon in a big way. But all I want is a perch, maybe 8-inch perch. Smallmouth bass, that kind of thing. That is easy to cook as well. So again, looking at it from a cooking point of view more than from a fishing point of view. One trip to Nova Scotia, went out on a boat and they did have fishing rods, so I caught a bunch of mackerel, took them back to the cabin, had a hibachi there, barbecued them on the hibachi. So fresh caught mackerel. Mackerel isn't that tasty a fish, but fresh off the boat onto the barbecue. And I think all we had there was salt and pepper, so whatever the cabin provided in their kitchen, and it was quite tasty. So I mean, if you buy mackerel here, it's been in a fish market for a week, so it loses a lot of its good flavor. Just looking at something on the computer. Yeah, it's getting too dark. So what I think I'm going to do, I think Mr. Russian is my only guest left on board. We'll hoist anchor and go work on the cooking video, and then look forward to doing this all again a week from today. We'll see what the weather's like. It's going to get dark even earlier, so maybe we'll start earlier, start at 6 o'clock instead of 7, and we'll do that then. So let's push end on the app. And getting out of the wind. Okay, so thanks a lot. We'll see you all later. Where's the X? There's the X. I push the X. Are you sure you want to stop? I want to stop.